Today is primary day in the state of Illinois, and the city of Chicago does not have any races this cycle, but there are plenty of suburbs that do, and we would like to run you through a few of those races right now. Let's start in Dalton. That is where we have one of the most closely watched races. As embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard is seeking re-election, she is going against a trustee that she once endorsed in Jason House. We're also watching the elections happening in Aurora. Mayor Richard Irvin has been in office since 2017 and is running for re-election. You see his challengers with him here. Karina Garcia, who is president of the Aurora Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Then two Aurora aldermen, John Lash and Judd Lofshe, who also ran against Irvin in 2021. Then there is also small business owner Ted Mesiacos. Cicero will be electing a town president. Incumbent Larry Dominic has held that job for 20 years, but he has a challenger this election cycle in Esteban Rodriguez, who served as director of a youth nonprofit. Now, joining me now to talk about all of these races and also some of the trends in turnout and more, we are joined by Cook County Clerk Monica Gordon. Thanks for being with me on this busy day.
Thank you for having me, Marie.
I appreciate it. So I want to begin in Dalton, hot spot for sure today. We were out there this morning and we saw what looked like pretty strong turnout. Are you expecting more of that in that part of Cook County because of that heated race, or do you think turnout numbers will be strong everywhere in Cook County?
Of course, I'm always hoping that turnout numbers will be strong.
Sure.
Unfortunately, history doesn't say that when it comes to consolidated races, but I do think turnout will be strong in Dalton. Early voting in Dalton has been stronger than usual, so we're hoping that today we see a larger turnout.
Great, and you said that you're going to Dalton, you're hitting a few other spots today. Tell me about that.
Well, we'll go to Cicero, we'll go to Berwyn, we'll go to Riverdale, we'll go to Calumet City. So
great. When it comes to turnout, I'm curious what your thoughts were about the presidential election. What did we see there that really told a story? And do you think we'll see any of that today, or will turnout be lower as is usually expected with some of these primaries?
So as you know, with the presidential and gubernatorial races, turnout is stronger.
Sure.
Typically in presidential races, we see about a 70% turnout. Unfortunately, with the consolidated elections, it drops down to like 20%.
Okay.
But part of my job is overseeing and being a minister of suburban elections. My goal is to increase that turnout. That's definitely one of our priorities here at the clerk's office. And you know, it's unfortunate because it's so important to vote in your local elections. It affects everything in your life, from you know, your schools, your quality of life. So we want to encourage people to get out there and vote in these, you know, less appealing, what has previously been less appealing elections. We want to change that narrative.
Because you could argue the impact is greater when you're starting with the primary.
The impact is much greater, yes.
Tell me about your work in protecting election integrity, which continues to be a really hot topic. I know Cook County has stayed strong in that machines work, and when they don't, you let us know, but there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Absolutely.
So what do you tell people when they ask about the integrity of these elections?
So I want to say that Cook County provide as a model for the remainder of the country when it comes to election integrity and security. But of course, there's, as you mentioned, that misinformation that's out there. And so we recommend those to go to cookcountyclerk.com/trusted source. Trusted Source is a great web page where we deliver accurate information to the residents. And also, you know, there's other additional issues such as we mentioned security. Well, in addition to the things that the county has in place, we also have GPS tracking on voter supply carriers, which go to the over 1,400 precincts within Cook County. So, and you know, the voter supply carriers are carrying that important election equipment.
Sure.
So
you know where they are, you know where they're going.
At all times. And you know, I encourage everybody, we have videos of our election operation, which is massive, it's impressive, and I encourage people to see how we do things in Cook County. And I think when you see that, it makes you more proud of the work we do to ensure the integrity of our democracy. And to me, that will encourage people to be more involved and engaged in the process.
And do you think then ultimately that brings more people out to vote in these smaller local elections, that feeling of pride?
I do, and that is a priority of my office. We're going to increase that voter turnout. We're going to make sure that people know how important it is to be engaged in the process, especially with the local elections that affect your quality of life the most.
You mentioned the website where people can get more information. Can they also find their information on today's primaries, what times polls close, etc.?
Yes, they can. polls should close around, they should all be closed by 7 o'clock p.m. And we have been very good in getting the information out to the public as soon as possible so they'll know where the races are.
So you are the chief of elections in Cook County, and you were just sworn in this past December.
Yes.
So the election cycle really came up quickly. I'm sure you were ready for that. How has it been in these first few weeks in the and months in the job?
Marie, you want to know why I was ready? Because I have an amazing team, and I want to definitely give out, recognize my Ed. People know Ed Michalowski. He does an amazing job in elections, as well as the remainder of the team. So having that that team that is fully engaged, a team that's on the forefront of technology to move the elections forward and make sure we continue to be a model for all of the nation, even the world, in election security, election integrity, election administration.
You also are completing the 2 years that were left on the late Karen Yarborough's term.
Yes.
She meant a lot to you. You called her a mentor.
Yes.
Tell me about her legacy that you are working on and living out as your role now in that job. Well,
part of Karen's legacy was transparency and accountability, also placing an emphasis on cybersecurity, and so that's what we're doing. While we want to continue the great work that she does, we want to continue to innovate. We want to continue to modernize the office. And so that's what I'm setting out to do. And she was a mentor to me. I remember when I asked her to be my mentor when I won a commissioner race. And so she took that job seriously, I'll tell you that. She took that job seriously, and I'm forever grateful. And I hope that she's watching and approving of the job that I'm doing.
Did she mention anything specifically about days like this, the big days, the stressful days?
Oh my gosh, yes. And she mentioned self-care, making sure to take care of yourself and just be honest with the people. Be honest, open, and transparent with the people, and that's the key. Having that comfortable dialogue, that conversation, talking to people, not talking at people.
So important.
Yes.
Lastly, can you tell me a little bit more about those different focuses that you have now to modernize the office, some improvements that we can see throughout the rest of your term?
Well, yes. So everything that's done in my office, I want to be rooted in equity. And what I mean by that, making sure that the services that we provide at Cook County, in the Cook County Clerk's office, are available to every resident of Cook County. Whether you're a registered voter or not, and whether you're Democrat or Republican, we want everyone to have access to those services. So I have a great transition team, right? It's a robust transition team in every area and categories such as vital records and elections. And what these experts are doing on this transition team is analyzing the policy and operational changes that we can make to make the office run more smoother and efficiently for every person in Cook County. And also on each committee there sits an expert on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's how we make sure that everything we do is rooted in equity. And I learned that from being a commissioner and working under President Toni Preckwinkle and her policy roadmap, her 5-year plan. Okay, well, we thank you for carving out this time for us. We're checking in with you a little bit later today to find out how things are going. But Cook County Clerk Monica Gordon, thank you for being with us and for your insight today. Thank you. We'll be right back.